Hello everyone, how is everyone going? We are now up to, I think it's now our third Zoom session for children's ministry. So today we are going to continue our story on Exodus, and we are going to continue to looking at the 10 plagues that are happening in Exodus in Egypt. And as Heather spoke about last time, about some of the plagues that had already happened that the magicians were able to replicate, and then they weren't able to anymore because God's divine hand was in place. But yet Pharaoh's heart was still hard in that place. So we're going to continue on today and have a look at a couple more of the plagues that happened in Egypt. And we're going to have a look at Exodus chapter 9, verses 1 to 12. And then once we finish these activities, this session, we will then go and have a look. There's a couple of colouring activities for you to download today to colour in for after this lesson, to go through and go through all those things that are in there. So let's get started. So in Exodus chapter 9, verse 1, then the Lord said to Moses, "Go into Pharaoh and tell him, 'Thus says the Lord God of the Hebrews.'" I'll just bring some pictures up here because it's better than looking at my face. "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go so they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go and continue to hold them back, the hand of the Lord will bring a terrible plague on your livestock in the field, on your horses, donkeys, and camels, and on your cattle, sheep, and goats. But the Lord will make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and that of Egypt, so that no animal belonging to the Israelites will die." That's interesting. "The Lord set a time and said, 'Tomorrow the Lord will do this in the land.' And the next day the Lord did it." Just need to get my picture to move across. See, it's not playing the game today, people. Bear with me. Find it. Where's the next picture? There we go. Let's see if I can do it while we're on there. That's what we're looking for. Much better. So, let's have a look. Some very different pictures there. We can see that very, very clearly. We have we actually have some animals here that belong to the Egyptians that are actually dead. But the Israelites here, their animals are still alive. Let's see what else happens. So it looks like we have a few more that are not alive. So what God said came true. So Pharaoh investigated and found that even one of the animals of the Israelites had actually died. My PowerPoints don't want to work today, guys. This is not cool. There we go. So these are all the Egyptians' animals, and they're all dead. All as God said would happen. And unfortunately, Pharaoh's heart was still unyielding. He would not let the people go. So what can we see here? Well, very sad Egyptians actually, because all their animals have died, and the Israelites here, their animals are still okay. So God said he would protect them. So there's something about serving God, isn't there? That there is a protection for him in and around that. So the next thing that God said to Moses, to Aaron, and he said, take handfuls of soot from a furnace and have Moses toss it into the air in the presence of Pharaoh. For it will become fine dust over the land of Egypt, and festering boils will break out on people and animals throughout the land. Ew, that's pretty gross. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd be too keen to have boils on me. Would you? Let's see what else it has to say. So they took soot from the furnace and they stood before Pharaoh. Moses tossed it into the air and festering boils broke out on people and animals. So it wasn't just the people that the boils broke out on, it was the animals. So boils are like big, huge, pussy lumps that have lots of gunk and yucky stuff in it, that when you pop them, it just lots of icky stuff oozes everywhere. So that was on the animals and the people of Egypt, but not the Israelites, not God's people. God's people weren't touched. So the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils that were on them and all the Egyptians. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he still would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said to Moses. God already said to him that Pharaoh's not going to listen. Every time I tell you to do something and you do it and obey what I've asked you to do, Pharaoh's still not going to listen. His heart is still going to be hardened. So it's still going to take something more for Pharaoh to let God's people go and let them leave Egypt as he promised, and let Moses and Aaron lead the people out of Egypt and take them to the promised land. So there's something in that. So it is really important. God does protect us. He says his word, he says he never leaves us nor never forsakes us. So that is true. So God always is there for us, no matter, even in these times right now, what we're looking around at when we see that there's so much uncertainty, we're asked to stay away from people because of the plague that we have here now. So this COVID is a bit like a plague, but God's protecting us. We are protected by God's grace and his blessing. His hand is upon us. And we can trust in that, and we can take comfort in that, and rest assured in that his protection and his hand is on us at all times. So he does. He watches over us wonderfully, and we can always trust that he will guide us and protect us in all those things. that we do. So, my little friends, if you would like to download those activities to have a look at, there are 10 plagues there to have a look at, and I think Nikita is going to talk to you a little bit more about some of the other plagues that came across. So if you can download those activities and colour them in, and I will have a bit of a chat to you a little bit later on in our Zoom room to catch up and see how you went and whether you listened, and look at those. And if you want to, ask Mum or Dad to read the story to you again, or you can watch the video. There's another video on our website, so there'll be one below in there on Exodus as well. So you can go and watch that YouTube video on Exodus also to have a look at some of those other things that are in there. But in the meantime, I am going to say bye for now. We'll see you soon. Bye.